It's time for doing time, do it for a while. Sees a rider on a lonely train from nowhere to the sea. He's the one
Yeah, we're sitting in Markthalle 9 in Berlin, and it's the Raw Wine Festival. And here, by my side,
Hi there.
So you present yourself.
My name is Gvanca, and I'm the center of universe, from the center of universe. My country's name is Georgia, which is in the Caucasus region. It's tiny little country, but if you see the map of Georgia, we have like lots of huge mountains down there. And on the north part of Georgia, we have a Great Caucasus mountain system, and the south part is a small Caucasus, and the between is the Lichi mountain. And because of this three mountain system, we have like lots of small microclimates almost each region. And that's why like biodiversity is really rich there, and we have 525 indigenous grape varieties. And if you travel like from the west part of Georgia to the east part of Georgia, you can see the type of soils are really different, and the pH inside the soil is also absolutely different. And the region where I am from, the winemaking technique is a little bit different to compare to the region from the east side of Georgia. Which means that once Georgian people are doing the white wines, we use skin contacts for fermentation and aging process. But once you are in the west part of Georgia, because our grapes have like a little bit high acidity, and because of the high acidity and like once you use 100% skin contacts, you have also really beautiful tannins inside the wine. But these two stuff together, sometimes it's a little bit complicated to find a balance, and people start to do white wines with only 30% skin contact. So the classical way from the west part of Georgia in amber wines case is to use like as usually only 30% skin contact for fermentation and aging process. And once you are traveling in the east part of Georgia, then we have like a beautiful grape varieties, and then once people are doing the white wines there, they use full amount of skins, full amount of stems, sometimes, as my friend says, even the leaves as well. And you have like a full body beautiful amber wines. And we use that huge clay pots, which is always inside the ground, and if you want to clean it, you have to go down and brush like from the downstairs. And to be honest, that space down there is so comfortable, so once you go in, then you will feel like it's home down there. So it's really, really nice and fun and interesting process to do the wines down there.
And there's no layer inside the Kvevri that should. It's a pot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no layer of wax or something inside.
Yeah. So the traditional way of Kvevri winemaking is as usually like the Kvevri is done with a really, really clean water and the special clay soil, which is like from the high mountains of Georgia. And there are the people like Kvevri makers, so we call it them like Kvevri makers, and they build those Kvevris, and it's just like that clean soil and this natural clay, which is so after Kvevri building, the Kvevri makers burn that like each Kvevri with a huge oven, I think during 2 or 3 weeks, and with a high temperature. And then once you get your Kvevris and you put downstairs, you don't do inside anything, and you just clean them with again clean water and dark sand, and it's ready for
That's all
wine.
you need.
Yeah, yeah.
And what is the volume of your?
To be honest, like in each Kvevri's case, you can find a different size. We find out that the Kvevri from 1,000 liter until like 1,500 liter is the nice amount that you can use for winemaking process. Because if it's like then too big, then it's hard to work with that big Kvevri. Mostly for me, the punching down is really hard. Once you have a huge Kvevri, we have like one Kvevri which is 1,500 liter deep, and even that size is a little bit hard to punch down. Like it's needs like a really hard person, like a hard-working person.
How long do they last?
If you put on the beginning you have to have like a really good and honest person who is a query maker, and if your query is well done, then you can work with it like generations after generations.
Okay.
I mean, in winery we have queries which are like already 85 years old or something, like from our big grandparents' time, and they are still very beautiful, and we still work with them.
And when you are going to bottle it, how do you do it?
During the bottling time, as usual, like we bottle our wines in June, July, and then in that time we already have wine removed from the sediment and from the skin.
And how do you do it? Are you pumping or?
So we're pumping out because as usually once you have wine into the query, you have this different, the three different wine in one query. Let's say, so you have top wine, middle wine, and bottom wine.
Okay.
And if you start bottling directly from query, so it means that you bottle that layer systems like differently. So you need to really mix it and make a harmonic in a one shape, in a one body, let's say. So that's why we always pumping out from query in some jar or some stainless tank or wherever, and then like we bottle from that space. Or if you have like small query, you can pumping down just there and bottle from that.
So interesting. So, which grapes are you working with?
So we have 3 white grapes, like which are from Imerut region. The names are Tsitska, Tsolikauri, and Krahuna. So those are the varieties which is really like local and very popular in the Imerut region. And from Tsolikauri you can make like these full body interesting amber wines. And from Tsitska and Krahuna personalities are a little bit different. From Tsitska you can make beautiful sparkling wines because you have like a high acidity there and really minerality taste and saltness, and it's a very interesting grape to work. And from Krahuna, what we just find out last year was that's a variety which have very strong personality, and you can really feel Krahuna into our blends even if you use only 10%, because it's it's loved to be very dominating inside the wine. So it's a very interesting, and it's have a pretty long aging potential, what we find out. So we were like pretty happy with Krahuna. And in red grapes case we have Aladasturi, Otsanuri, Safre, and Ojaleshi. And Ojaleshi we just stole from Megrelian people. The San Migrolo is our neighbor region, and my grandfather was one time there, so he was traveling a little bit and he tried the wine, and then he brought some plants. So we have those vineyards in our field, so we really love to work with that grapes.
So all the family is involved in the winemaking or wine producing?
Yes. So in our case, so in our family, we are already first generation who produce wine. But what is really interesting, actually in the Georgian's case, is if you see like how much energy Georgian people are spending in vineyard, it's like really unbelievable, because we use like lots of physical energy, and as usually we work only with the hands, like with a tractor or anything, and like full year we work there very hard, and that was the same in my ancestors' case as well. But then once it's a harvest time, we just pick the grapes and crush, and then they let them show itself. So in my parents' case, they were also doing the same, but they are also teachers, so it was like half-time work. And then we still, our childhood, we are working in vineyard, and then my sister was the one who really bring us together, and she just really brought the passion of winemaking to us. Because what we find out during the winemaking process is, so because of in Georgia we have this amazing big culture of winemaking, you have like lots of people who have this traditional knowledge which is very unique, and they just it's like everything is unwritten law, let's say. And so like what is classical way from your village to do which blend and etc. So you have this traditional way of winemaking, let's say, which is very, very interesting. But at the same time, if you do the winemaking only because of its tradition, and if you don't find out the passion there to do something and to create something new, then sometimes it's really hard. You feel on your shoulder that you do it only for a tradition. But what is very interesting for winemaking is it's a really, really big peace and very big freedom. And you always have like some amount of freedom to try the new stuff and explore new things. And even though at the end of the year maybe you can get like 100 liters of vinegar, sometimes even it's okay.
Yeah, but it's useful too.
Yeah. I mean, without that experiments, then you can't really find your own way. And we love this traditional wine, but we also love to try like new crazy stuff and new crazy things. And that's a very interesting and funny process.
So then we should taste the wine.
Yeah.
Now this is our blend one. It's Tsitska, Tsolikauri and Krahuna. Those are the three white grapes from our vineyard. And the major variety here is Tsolikauri. So we use 60% Tsolikauri, 20% Tsitska and 20% Krahuna. And we use like 30% skin contact for fermentation and aging process. And so sorry for my dirty hands, but it's coming from Otskanuri Sapere because we were just working like before row. I just came from the cellar and I could not manage to remove all those stuff from the hands. So sorry for that.
Thank you.
So enjoy.
Jättevacker färg. It's a beautiful color. You couldn't see that yesterday because it was quite dark in
Yeah,
the
it's
wine
low
bar.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's... Det känns också så här rent. Ja, it's very pure. So nice nose.
It's almost there.
Det är jättegott. Det är balanserat och alltså superbalans. Allting bara är integrerat och syran är jättehög men den ligger så himla involverad så att man tänker liksom inte på den. Fantastiskt matvin. Alltså Amber Wines, orange vin, det är verkligen jättebra till kött, till vegetariska maträtter, fisk. Funkar med det mesta. Och så såna här nötskal, mandelskal.
So this one is this guy, Otskanuri Sapere. And actually this variety story is very interesting because as legend says, so there was a small village name was Otskana and no one really knows now where was that village. It was in Imereti or in Guria region. And then this Sapere grapes was from that space. And now like there is a very small amount of vineyards left in Imereti region because the problem is in our lands we have very high humidity and which means that we have like lots of fungus problem and this vineyard is very sensitive so it gets really easily destroyed from the fungus and because of that like some people cut it those vineyards and make the plants another grapes but from these kind of grapes you can really make very interesting wines so that's like the idea why we want to plant more Otskanuri in our vineyards.
But you don't use anything in the vineyard? No chemical spraying? No. Kolsvart. Precis som hon sa, hon var ju alldeles svart om henne, varit nere i källaren och jobbat och verkligen it's really deep, opaque. It's really opakt. Jätte så här rent, det är ingenting som sticker ut. Det är sån balans. Redan i doften. Mörkbärigt men inget sådär skrivet på näsan utan verkligen fin balans. Det bara ligger som en sammet. Såhär juicigt, gott. Druvjuice. Fin struktur, jättegott. Det är så här man vill ha mer.
Ja.
Det heter saftigt. So nice.
Oh, thank you so much.
So juicy and so well balanced with the structure and